Right now, reaction from the small village of Benton in Lafayette County after the apparent shocking murder of an elderly woman allegedly at the hands of a family member. Plus, how gun safety advocates are hoping to examine how guns are marketed with the goal of keeping them out of the hands of children. And the Badger women's hockey team staring down another showdown with the Gophers in the Frozen Four. Sports director Zach Hanley is in Duluth with a preview of tomorrow night's game. That's all ahead on this late edition of News 3 Now at 10. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. In a small rural town in Lafayette County, Benton residents are finally getting some answers after the death of an 83-year-old woman. Lynn Montgomery died last month, and at the time, investigators called it suspicious. And now a 30-year-old woman, the victim's granddaughter-in-law, has been arrested and charged with her murder. Police say that suspect, Shannon Bussin, was actually the one who called 911 saying a woman had fallen and wasn't breathing. However, newly released court records say the autopsy revealed troubling details that couldn't be explained by just a fall. And that includes bruising to her arms, face, hands, and ribs that likely came from blunt force trauma. Days after her death, family members also found notes around the home appeared to have been written by the victim saying she was being attacked and injured. Those who knew Lynn Montgomery say she was an active member of the community and could be found throughout Benton, making her presence known. Our Catherine Merck spoke with those who she impacted.
It's here at the VFW in Benton, where members of this community tell me Lynn Montgomery frequented monthly games of bingo and lunches with her friends. After her death, they tell me now there's going to be a large place at this table that's going to be left empty.
Seems like I've always known her.
Farrah Morrissey and Vicky Ferry are remembering all the memories they shared with Lynn Montgomery.
Deeply involved in the church. I know she's been coming in here for lunch for years.
When Dad had a stroke, she went to the hospital to visit him. She sang in the choir. She set up the garage sale.
She was an amazing organizer, and then she would turn around and work the event too. Somebody who was just always around and would help you and give you a hug when you needed it.
They say the 83-year-old never let her age stop her from being involved in Benton's small but strong community.
She liked to travel, loved talking about the grandkids and her foreign exchange students and the trips they were planning to do.
She liked to go.
As those who knew Lynn continue to remember her after her death, these women say she'll always have a special spot here at the VFW and in their thoughts.
I don't know, she was Lynn. She just did what she did.
That we'll just have to go on and do what she would want us to do to the best we can.
In a phone call, the sheriff told us he couldn't answer any further questions about if any additional people will be charged in this case. The sheriff's also asking that anyone with information come forward and respect the family's privacy at this time. Reporting in Benton, I'm Catherine Merck with News 3 Now.
The sheriff says the charges involved in this case come after an extensive investigation. Shannon Bussin is currently being held in the Joe Davies County Jail down in Illinois, awaiting extradition to Lafayette County. Next tonight, some severe weather moving through parts of the South tonight. This is a drone time lapse showing this storm and a possible tornado in the Fort Worth, Texas area. There have been several reports of damage, large hail across Texas and in parts of Oklahoma. Well, let's get a look at our weather now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, nothing that dramatic here, but we've had rain for much of the afternoon and evening, but that will be changing to snow before too long, at least here in Madison. It's already been doing that across our western viewing area. And the winds are also picking up. Take a look at the current wind gusts. Madison, the winds are pretty light here, although it is a little colder. We've had a wind shift, but notice those wind gusts in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range, basically west of Dane County. So those winds will be picking up with time, and the temperatures will be dropping. Madison's still in the lower 40s, but notice the temperatures overlaid on top of the radar. They're dropping into the 30s, and the rain is mixing with and changing to snow for areas west of Dane County, and we'll see that changeover happen here in Madison probably within the next hour or so. But good news is that weather system moving through pretty quickly, so that would limit any snowfall potential here, probably less than an inch if we see anything at all. Otherwise, look for a low of 26 by morning, and then we'll look for a pretty cold St. Patrick's Day, and it will be windy. But good news is we'll see a warm-up for next week. I'll have more details and weather in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. A Minnesota mall remains closed days after part of the roof collapsed. Heavy snow caused it to give way at Miller Hill Mall in Duluth. Happened Tuesday morning before the mall opened to the public, so there were just a few people inside. No one was hurt. but the collapse did cause significant damage. Crews are working to remove some of the snow while experts test to see how structurally safe the rest of the roof is before allowing the mall to reopen. In Rock County, a 14-year-old middle school student has been arrested after police say he made some sort of threats against the school. He's charged with making terrorist threats. No weapons were found at school, but Janesville police say they later recovered 4 guns inside the teen's home after getting a search warrant. At the state capitol today, Republican lawmakers began circulating a bill that would designate the lever-action Henry all-weather rifle, which is produced in northwestern Wisconsin, as the state's official rifle. The bill is only symbolic, but it would give the rifle and its manufacturer plenty of publicity. This comes as the White House announces plans to look into how firearms are marketed in an effort to keep them out of the hands of children. Gun safety advocates in Milwaukee hope it will help stem the tide of gun violence. Adam Reif has more.
This is a means of grooming children to be the next generation of gun users.
Jerry Bonavia of the group Wisconsin Anti-Violence Effort claims those marketing efforts are direct and intentional to make guns seem like toys, not deadly weapons.
We'll find guns that are made in, Barbie pink or with Hello Kitty or other kind of cartoon-ish characters.
It follows the president's calls for an independent government study into firearm marketing.
It analyzes and exposes how gun manufacturers aggressively market firearms to civilians, especially minors.
But pro-Second Amendment advocates say blaming manufacturers is wrong.
I would say video games market firearms to kids way more than gun manufacturers do.
Deborah Gillespie has been a gun safety advocate since her son was killed in 2003. She said young people often view guns as a symbol of power, safety, or status.
Depending upon what a kid sees all the time, you become numb thinking, not that you're actually killing someone, but that a gun is the thing to have.
In the past 6 weeks alone, nearly a dozen children have been shot in Milwaukee. 3 died. And in some cases, other minors were the shooter. In another case, a 5-year-old child accidentally shot himself.
Putting children in danger, in the line of fire, is a price that the gun industry is willing to pay.
That was Adam Reif reporting. Now, earlier this week, President Biden called on the Federal Trade Commission to issue a public report on how gun manufacturers market their guns. So far, the FTC has not responded to the president's request. The Pentagon has released video showing the moment a Russian jet clipped an American drone, sending it crashing into the Black Sea. Now, that first jet there appears to be spraying fuel on the drone. A second one then gets even closer, striking the drone. A U.S. official confirms a Russian ship has already recovered some of the wreckage of the drone. However, they also say they have wiped the drone's software clean to remove any sensitive data.
We have capabilities and means at our disposal to protect and safeguard information, of which we have taken, but I have to leave it there.
Now, Russia had originally stated its planes did not force the drone to crash. They've now changed that story to say they had restricted that airspace since the start of the war with Ukraine. Officials also say the Russian ships are not staying at the wreckage site because it is within range of Ukrainian missiles. Ukraine's military has released footage showing troops of the Volunteer 1st Assault Battalion on the outskirts of Bakhmut. The video shows destroyed houses along the way and conditions there on the front lines. The footage was uploaded today, but the Associated Press had no means of verifying when or where it was recorded. Developing tonight, protesters are continuing to clash with police in France over a vastly unpopular bill. French Prime Minister Elizabeth Borne used a special procedure to push the pensions bill through the National Assembly without a vote today, triggering outbursts in rare chaotic scenes in the French Parliament. The bill will raise the retirement age by 2 years to 64 in France, which the government says is essential to ensure the pension system does not go bust. An intersection blocked in rural Kentucky after a freight train derailed today. It's the latest in a string of recent train crashes. This one caused by a semi that was stuck on the tracks in the small town of Glendale. It's about an hour south of Louisville on I-65. Witnesses say the train derailed after braking to avoid the truck, and it never struck the semi. State police indicate the train was carrying vehicles. They say there is no threat to that area. More local news now. It is a concept that's been floating around in Madison now for decades, turning a big part of State Street into a pedestrian mall, and it could be getting closer to reality. Those pushing for it say it would go up between the 400 and 600 blocks, which is Gorham Street, all the way down to Lake Street. They say, though, a reimagined State Street comes with some challenges. The possibilities are plenty, but the potential gain is big.
And what we're looking to is to attract and to draw more people to come the residents of Madison, tourists, the office workers, and the residents, we need to create things that people are interested in seeing and places that are alive and vibrant.
The pedestrian mall still in its very early stages. There's a lot of constraints for the city planners to work through. For the 14th time in school history, the Wisconsin women's hockey team is in the Frozen Four, but the path this group had to take was a little different than in years past. Sports director Zach Hanley has more from Duluth.
Tomorrow, Amsoil Arena will be the site for round 6 between Wisconsin and Minnesota in the Frozen Four semifinals. But not many people outside the program thought the Badgers would get to this point. Remember, UW went through a little slump in the middle of their season, losing 5 straight games. Outside the program, the thought was to push the panic button. Mark Johnson did not. He told his team to stay the course, and they listened. Now the Badgers are 2 wins away from winning yet another national championship, and they couldn't be more excited to be here.
Extremely excited, especially because the way our season went, I think a lot of people doubted that we would be here today, but we never doubted ourselves. And so we're coming in with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. We're ready to go. We have nothing to lose.
My big thing is I want to play well. I don't want them to be nervous. I don't want them to be worried about making mistakes. I just want them to free their minds up, go enjoy the moment, and play.
Wisconsin already making a little bit of history ahead of tomorrow night's game. Freshman KK Harvey was named a second-team All-American. She's just the second Badger freshman in program history to earn All-American status. At Amsoil Arena in Duluth, Zach Hanley, News 3 Sports.
And the puck drop of the game tomorrow night set for 6 o'clock Central Time to come up later. Zach will have more on the 6th meeting between the Badgers and Gophers this year. Well, check this out. New tonight, 8 months after Ale Asylum closed its doors, some of their most popular beers will be living on through another local brewery. Today, the owners of Carbon 4 say they plan to relaunch several of Ale Asylum's most popular beers, including the well-known favorite Hopalicious. The Carbon 4 team is hosting a Hopalicious homecoming celebration next week. Still ahead tonight, Gary Canalte's updated forecast, plus something to consider for your next trip down to Florida that may make you consider some of those plans. Stay with us.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way. All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Oh, the weather. What's the chance of rain tomorrow?
Ooh, 80%. I make it rain. I make it rain.
Speaking of making it rain, at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, we have an average 95% payout, which leads you to more chances of playing longer and more chances to win big. Play longer, win more, chances are you're gonna like it.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Get $1,500 purchase allowance on a 2023 Cadillac XT5 and XT6. Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Come to Slumberland and get 20% off our beautiful new furniture and decor during our Spring Spruce Up event. We've got fresh new looks, like sleek new upholstery for your living area, plus extra discounts on recliners, patios, Sealy mattresses, and sectionals, including our new super versatile modular sectional. Get an extra 20% off Slumberland low prices during our Spring Spruce Up event right now at Slumberland Furniture. And check out our easy new mattress rating system to get you in your perfect bed.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Tomorrow, we're kicking up our heels to celebrate St. Patty's Day.
Watch what happens when I head to Wanakee for a lesson from some of the best Irish dancers in the 608.
And how strong will those winds be on your St. Patrick's Day? Tune in tomorrow from 4:30 to 7.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. An interesting update tonight out of Iraq. Capsized in a river in the southern part of the country, we are again seeing the rusting wreckage of a yacht that once belonged to Saddam Hussein, the nearly 400-foot ship, a symbol of Saddam's wealth and power when it was built back in the 1980s, is today a destination for sightseers and fishermen. It was targeted by U.S.-led forces and capsized in the turmoil that followed Saddam's downfall. The yacht was stripped bare and looted, with everything from its chandeliers and furniture to parts of its metal structure removed. 2 acts that gave the president authority to use military force in Iraq could soon be repealed. The Senate voted today to advance a bill repealing 2 Iraq War Power Acts as lawmakers work to reassert their authority in military intervention abroad. The 68-27 vote was largely bipartisan. Authorizations for use of force back in 1991 and 2002 gave the president authority to order military action in Iraq without approval from Congress. The White House said today that it supports repealing those measures. New tonight, Pfizer is recalling more than 4 million packages of a prescription migraine medication. The company says the packaging for Nurtec ODT is not child resistant. The recall is voluntary. Pfizer says people don't need to throw away or return the medicine, but instead keep it out of the reach of children. Customers are also urged to call to get a free child-resistant pouch. Another streaming service raising its rates. The price for YouTube TV now going up more than 12%, jumping from $65 to $73 a month. YouTube TV says that is due to the rising costs of its content. Ted Lasso fans, how would you like to spend the night at AFC Richmond's favorite pub? The Crown and Anchor is going on Airbnb for 3 nights to celebrate season 3 that just dropped on Apple TV+. May, the gritty pub owner on the hit show, will be the hostess. The 3 nights available are October 23rd, 24th, and 25th. The listing goes live on Airbnb on March 21st. Here's something you might not have considered while planning your next beach vacation. An onslaught of sargassum seaweed might be moving toward Florida. It's been bad down there, the sargassum has, for a few years now, but now these new stretches, they are so large, they're visible from space. Most of this seaweed is still hundreds of miles from the U.S., but some is off the coast of Key Largo now. If too much of it comes on shore, it can overwhelm beaches, rot on the sand, and give off a bad smell. Gary Canaldi joins us now with our forecast. You know, that sargassum, they say, is climate change. The water staying warmer. If you've been to Florida the last few years, the Caribbean beaches, it's been a real problem.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and unfortunately, I think it's going to get worse. There's really not much that can be done, at least at this point. Around here, we're just looking at rain that will be changing over to snow, and that's happening pretty much on schedule. This is high-resolution radar with temperatures overlaid. And you can see rain here in Madison and areas to the east. Temperatures are in the lower 40s, but to the west, those temperatures are dropping into the lower to middle 30s, and the precipitation is changing to snow. But that should be warm enough to keep anything from really sticking, other than maybe on grassy areas and especially higher elevations out to the west. So that might be the area that, if there's any snow accumulation, would probably be there. The bigger problem is the winds right now. They're starting to pick up as that cold front sweeps on through and the winds shift around to the northwest. We're starting to see wind gusts in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range. And tomorrow, we could see some wind gusts up around 40 miles per hour. But the snow will be moving through pretty quickly, and that would limit any accumulation potential. 6-hour future track radar shows that by 5:15 tomorrow morning, everything's out over Lake Michigan. So that's a pretty fast-moving system. 3 things you need to know in our forecast. Look for a windy day for St. Patrick's Day. Wind gusts of 40 miles per hour or greater at times. High temperatures will drop to the middle 20s by Saturday with some snow flurry chances, but mild weather returns pretty quickly. By Tuesday, already temperatures pushing around 50 degrees. But for St. Patrick's Day itself, you'll need to bundle up. Wear a green jacket, of course, but 31 the high temperature. Dry and cold, but again, those strong winds could gust to over 40 miles per hour. The high temperature trend over the next 10 days, well below normal temperatures through the weekend. Sunday, a little closer to average. The average high temperature goes from 44 to 48. So we're going up at the rate of about 4 degrees every 10 days. And notice our high temperatures back at or above normal as we head into much of next week. We'll see rain chances, maybe even some thunderstorms by Thursday of next week. All the thunderstorms have been down to the south tonight. Some severe weather over parts of Arkansas, back into Texas, as we saw earlier in the newscast. But the northern edge of this, again, just a quick change over to snow here. The snow has been falling pretty steadily in the northern part of the Midwest, and there have been some heavy snow amounts up near parts of Lake Superior. Planning your night, look for those temperatures to drop off into the middle 30s by 2 a.m. here in Madison. But notice most of the snow already east of town by then. Maybe some light snow showers east of Madison, a couple of flurries possible west of town. Those temperatures drop off into the upper 20s by early tomorrow morning. But notice the sky is actually starting to clear as we head toward noon. As far as our forecast for tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 31 degrees. So clouds early, but then we'll see some sunshine. It'll be windy and cold for our St. Patrick's Day. Again, any snow accumulation less than an inch, more likely north of Madison now than anything else. As we look at our 7 to 10, our first warn 7 to 10 day forecast, 26 for high Saturday and some flurry chances, but sunshine brings us back to 40 or near 40 on Sunday, and then temperatures pushing close to 50 by the middle of next week. Mainly rain from Wednesday through Friday. I think we could even see a thunderstorm on Thursday, but temperatures will start dropping Friday afternoon. Pretty close to normal temperatures for next weekend with some rain showers about Sunday.
And coming up in sports, we talk the Women's Frozen Four and how the Badgers are slated to face their biggest rival in the nation's semifinals. Stay with us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Don't need glasses. See us for your contacts and save on your annual supply.
This is Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get up and get into Ford F-150, part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. All amped up and ready for work or play. Plus, there's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. So get into Ford Truck Month and see what a built Ford Tough truck can do for you. Choose FlexBuy on F-150 and get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months plus 1,000 FlexBuy, 1,000 Ford credit cash, and 500 accessories cash.
Chicago. Celebrating 25 years of Broadway razzle-dazzle. The Associated Press calls Chicago the most entertaining musical of the decade. Paint the town again with Chicago the Musical.
At Overture, March 21st through 26th. Tickets at overture.org.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Extremist Dan Kelly wants abortion banned, even in cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother. For years, Kelly was on the payroll of a radical anti-abortion group working to take away women's rights. On the court, Kelly will uphold Wisconsin's 1849 criminal abortion ban that strips women of their freedom to make personal decisions on abortion. Dan Kelly, an extremist who doesn't care about us.
Family-owned Brothers Maine knows choosing appliances for a remodel or new build can be exciting and overwhelming. Our experienced staff has experienced it all as we've guided thousands of area families through appliance selection. Brothers Maine has a larger inventory and low-price deals that consistently beat competitors, including Big Box. You heard me, Big Box can't beat our prices. From sales to install, Brothers Maine does it all. Feel great about your purchases and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
In less than 24 hours, the Wisconsin women's hockey team will take the ice in the national semifinals against a very familiar opponent, Minnesota. And if it seems like they faced off against each other a bunch this season, it's because they have. Zach Hanley is in Duluth with more on how this stage was made for the Badger-Gopher rivalry.
It doesn't get any better than this, does it? Wisconsin versus Minnesota for a spot in the national championship game. It's how it should be, right? Two bitter rivals on hockey's biggest stage, and they definitely aren't strangers to one another. The semifinal matchup is the sixth meeting in this year's installment of the Border Battle. The Badgers have 2 wins plus a shootout victory to their name. They've tied once and lost once. And seeing each other again, well, it's just fitting.
I can go back probably 5 or 6 other years and talk about the 5 or 6 times we've played Minnesota, and now we're playing them in the semifinals, we're playing them in the finals, so it's like deja vu. It's like Groundhog Day, and here we go again.
I think it's perfect that we're playing the Gophers, our biggest rival, I'd say, and I think we respect them so much. The respect is mutual. They have so many great players, great leaders on that team, and so do we.
There truly is nothing better than beating your rival and ending their season. And like Britta Curl said, the Badgers will be out for blood. At Amsoil Arena in Duluth, Zach Hanley, News 3 Sports.
Whitewater men's basketball is back in the Final Four for the first time since 2014. And just like they have been all season long, they're playing for much more than a spot in the national championship game. They're playing for Derek Gray, who unexpectedly passed away last July. Now they're hoping they can get past Mount Union tonight. It's tied up at 6 early. Trayvon Chisholm sparks an 8-0 scoring run for the Warhawks, and that really just jumpstarts their offense. They got a double-digit lead for most of this half, and Carter Capstran cashes in from the top of the key. The Hawks make it a 20-point game, but the Raiders manage to erase the deficit after halftime. Back-to-back buckets for Colin Gurley, and Mount Union takes the lead for good. Whitewater's season comes to an end, 83-79, the final. Bucks back home after a few games out west, taking on the Pacers for the 3rd time this season. Now we're going to jump to late in this game, and the Bucks were pretty much on cruise control. Drew Holiday spins and splashes for 2. Got a nice double-digit lead going. But it's the former Buck who actually helps cut into the deficit. Jordan Nwora dials up from the wing, and that triple gives Indy the edge. The Bucks just aren't able to rally in that 4th quarter. They end up falling 139-123. First day of the state boys basketball tournament, and the goal over the next 2 days, make it to championship Saturday. Lakeside Lutheran making its first state appearance since 2011. This afternoon facing the 2nd-ranked team in the state, Brilliant, in the Division III semifinals. Now defense is the name of this game. Warriors force an early turnover, and Levi Burkholz capitalizes. Pulls up, knocks down the jumper for a 2-point lead. Now Burkholz putting on a show in this first half. He's going to wrangle the loose ball, beats the defenders for the 2-hand jam, and he finishes the game with 18 points. But late in the first half, the momentum starts to shift in Brilliant's favor. Parker Braun finds Grady Geiger down low, and the Lions add some cushion to their slight lead. They're going to go on to win this one 57-55, advancing to the D3 title game. Another Packer is on the move. Adam Schefter is reporting that Robert Tonyan is signing a 1-year deal with the Bears. Tonyan spent 5 seasons in the green and gold. This year he finished with 53 grabs for 470 yards and 2 scores. We'll be right back.
Remember this, and the false selector scheme. In Wisconsin, extremist Dan Kelly was the right-wing lawyer behind the scenes of it all. The bipartisan January 6th Commission revealed Kelly advised Trump operatives as special counsel to overturn the will of the people and overthrow the election results. Kelly even went on tour promoting the big lie. On April 4th, vote like democracy depends on it, because it does.
I thought with everything going on, we could all use a little smile break. So this one is on Gruber Law Offices. You're welcome. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I had a lot of bad days with gout, but that one took the wedding cake. Even with medicine, my uric acid was still too high to stop painful gout buildup. Then a gout specialist told me about Cristexa.
Cristexa is a prescription medicine for adults with gout whose symptoms are not controlled by other gout medicines.
I learned Cristexa quickly starts working to break down gout buildup.
Cristexa is an infused medicine. Serious life-threatening allergic reactions can occur while taking Cristexa. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as shortness of breath, trouble breathing, dizziness, itching, or swelling of the throat or tongue. Cristexa is not recommended if you have high levels of uric acid without a history of gout. Do not take Cristexa if you have a rare disorder called G6PD deficiency or favism. Before receiving Cristexa, tell your doctor if you have a history of heart problems and all the medicines you take. Cristexa may cause gout flare-ups, allergic reactions, nausea, bruising, sore throat, constipation, chest pain, and vomiting.
I received Cristexa for about 6 months. Now I'm in control, not gout.
Find a doctor who specializes in gout at goutdocnow.com.
Good news! This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Now get a 2022 Explorer with 0% APR financing for 36 months, only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
State Supreme Court debate, Tuesday at 4 p.m.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Gary's back now. The radar is green for St. Patrick's Day.
It is, but not all of it's green. It's actually starting to change colors. Some snow starting to show up west of Madison, but you can see in 6-hour future track radar, it's blowing through pretty quickly. Temperatures right now 42 Madison, but already close to freezing out toward the Mississippi River. Dane County, those temperatures are starting to drop, especially out to the west.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for staying up late with us, folks. Have a great night.